Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Twigs and Rigs. Excited to be here with you guys today. I'm Jacob Golopoli, joined by.
Zach Rosen. And
and Link Dancevich from New Wave Hockey.
There we go. Yeah, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about some of the recent events in the NHL trade wise, and then we're going to cap it off with some World Juniors talk. So Zach, you want to kick it off for us?
yeah, shockingly, a lot of trades have actually happened, especially in yesterday. I think I saw stats 12 trades have happened since opening day, which feels like a lot. I'm not actually sure if that is, but for the NHL, it's action. I will say that. I guess starting off, this signing just never worked for Vancouver. So I mean, Daniel Sprong back to Seattle for future considerations. I mean, I mean, it's been reported in the past that he might have attitude issues, which is kind of why he's been bouncing from team to team. Like, good player, good shot. I mean, it's all you can ask for, I guess, especially for a bottom sixer. So, and for Vancouver, I mean, more leeway to maybe play Lekkerimaki at some point. So easier to find a way to get him a spot. So
I'm excited to
Yeah.
see Maki.
he already has his first goal. I think
I
first
know,
two.
but I want to see him
Boy,
stay at the NHL level.
Yeah,
he will in time.
yeah.
Sucks for Sprung though. He had a lot of potential coming out of his draft, but again he's more of a selfish player, and they don't need that in Vancouver, so they moved on from him.
Next one, another bottom six trade. Another reunion actually. Lars Eller back to the Caps. Stanley Cup hero for a 2027 third and a 2025 fifth. I mean, reunion. The Caps are good, and I mean the Pens are just trying to get younger, I guess. So
Yeah.
I'll let
Or they're
Jacob
just trying to
handle that
sell.
more.
Yeah, I mean Lars Eller looked great for us for a while. He played really good as a third line center, and honestly, that kind of a player when you're looking to compete for a cup is definitely going to be very very useful. So they picked up a good piece with Lars Eller, some familiarity there, of course, some success there. So yeah, I think he'll pick up right where he left off with them.
I think also getting a third and a fifth is pretty damn good.
Pretty good, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. For sure.
And then another Pens trade, a 2027 fourth for to the Preds for Philip Tomasino. I'm gonna mention this now. I know I've sent Link this with the whole the first rounders from the Preds from what was it 2016 to
Yeah.
2018 or 2017.
2020 because the Askarov one and Tomasino. They were both firsts back-to-back years. So Tomasino's been pretty good as a Pen, hasn't he? Right? I know,
He's been fantastic as a top sixer. I mean, it's rare for Sullivan to really be throwing younger guys up there as of recent, but he's done fantastic. Looks great in transition, grinds well. He makes smart plays, makes NHL level plays, which is great. And honestly, he's got a hell of a shot, and we've seen that a couple times. And we can't expect him to score like he was when he first got over here, but he's been looking fantastic, and I don't really see him dropping off the roster at least, getting scratched or anything.
What line is he on?
Knock on wood.
What line is he on?
He's on second with
Gino and Bunting.
Gino, and it changes all the time, but a lot of times it's Bunting. So
yeah. And then another Nashville trade. I'm not talking about the Ryder Rolston one, but for future considerations. Eustace Anunen and a 2025 sixth to Nashville for Scott Wedgwood. As someone who knows what Scott Wedgwood is, he starts hot on new teams, except Nashville, and then falls back to being a backup. I liked him in Dallas. He was fun. I mean, I like it more for Nashville, where you're getting off a 2-year commitment, and you're getting a younger guy with at least some upside still. I mean, in Colorado, they just need to redo their whole tandem. Like it just was
Brutal.
brutal.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was
I think it
very
was
bad.
the worst in the league, right? And
Yeah.
it sucks for Ananin because Ananin, like, he seemed like he was going to be their future for a long time.
Yeah.
Really tough.
Mm-hmm. I thought he could have been something there, but oh well. And now to one of the bigger ones. While I was at an airport, this happened. David Yurchek in the 2025 fifth to Minnesota for Damon Hunt, a 2025 first, a 2026 third, a 2026 fourth, and a 2027 second.
I was also at the airport when this went down too, so I guess this is kind of a Thanksgiving break surprise.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah,
I'm not happy that's Minnesota.
what can you do
but
though? They needed the defensive depth, kind
he's
of.
not up right now.
I know, but then again, your Zeev Buim's not up right now, and you have a ton of other depth coming up down the line. You have to see that this is going to be the most prolific defensive core we've seen since maybe prime Nashville in 2017. You're gonna see some speed with Aaron Kiviharyu and Zeev Buim and that offensive talent that both of them can convey, and just some hard-nosed defensive defending with Faber and Juracek. And we're not even getting
Lambos.
into the other guys that are there too. So
Lambos.
Lambos is there too. I think one of the there was an old like World Juniors hero Czech defenseman that was on one of those teams. Not like David Spacek. Probably David Spacek, right?
It might have actually, yeah, because I
might
saw
be
in, like
Spacek.
an article a few days ago that like there was like one trade target for every team and what they have to send. In Montreal, it was David Spacek for Joel Armia. So, but I mean, I still think Yurchek has a lot of upside. I still hate that it's Minnesota getting him.
Just it's all right. Look, they're
I like the package for Columbus. Like it's really not bad. Getting a first back, it doesn't matter if this is a weak draft or not. A first is a first, and getting a bunch of picks. And Damon Hunt can be a bottom pairing guy. Like
yeah,
it's not terrible. And they had a log jam, so and they have and then Matejchuk exists.
Yeah.
it still sucks for them, but we'll see
Yeah.
what they can do.
They got a ton of guys. They got Matejchuk, Kuhlmans,
Svozil. They also have Samuel Knashko, another Slovak
Kuhlmans.
World Juniors hero. So I can't wait till we get to the World Juniors talk. I'm all on that. So Kuhlmans does not look like the guy yet, but we'll see what happens to him.
He was always raw.
Yeah,
he's staying pretty raw. I'll tell you that. So
Jacob, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, no, I think it's a big pickup for Minnesota. He's gonna be a rock for them, like Link was saying. I think their defensive core is gonna be ridiculous, and yeah, I think that's kind of what they're trying to build there. Is that defensive core is just ridiculous. They've already got some great studs on the front end, so and they've got Wallstead in net. So I mean, they look fantastic for the future and in the present. So props to them. They're just building a monster of an organization over there.
They've drafted incredibly well, and they've drafted incredibly well. The only hiccup really being Charlie Stramel. So that's
going
to
be a bottom sixer even.
That's fine.
Yeah, he can still contribute somewhere.
Honestly, like the clairvoyance on that pick is kind of crazy because they don't need any more, I guess, skill players.
And
They're
they
solid.
still have Yarov over in Russia.
Yeah.
He'll
come over soon.
It's so annoying.
Got
it. All right, moving on. The next one, the cap dump. I'll get into them more later, but Trouba to Anaheim for Urho Vakanainen in a 2025 fourth. I hate that Anaheim actually helped them get out of it. I don't get how you don't retain on that contract, but Trouba's apparently hasn't looked terrible, so I don't get why you do it if you're Anaheim, because you have a logjam kind of at defense.
Yeah.
But somebody told me that Jacob Trouba is looking like semi back in his Winnipeg days, and I'm like, you're kidding me. But I do understand the move for Anaheim. If when you have a logjam at defense, especially with all those young defensemen, Leno's not exactly working the way that you thought he would. You need that experience, that older veteran leadership of some kind, whether that's Gudis, whether that is Truba,
Lavrenko.
to spur development. And Cam Fowler had been there for years, and I guess we're going to talk about that next. But yeah, it's a positive. I think it's a positive move for both teams in hindsight. Anaheim doesn't really need, is not really concerned about like long-term contracts at the moment.
Yeah.
So
It's only
they
like
get
another
done.
year at Truba.
They'll just let him walk.
Yeah,
But
it's just one more year at Truba after this year, and then he's gone. I will
Yeah.
say this though. I mean, it's funny that the if they ever do this, a pairing of Truba and Gudis, just kill every, just ugh.
That'd be insane.
Yeah, I hate that the Rangers were able to get out of that contract for free, but this is not the Cam Fowler one. Next, it is Mackenzie Blackwood, Giovanni Smith, and the 2027 fifth heads to Colorado for Georgiev, Kovalenko, 2025 fifth, and 2026 second. I said it was a win at the time for San Jose. I mean, I still need to see more from Blackwood in Colorado because his stats kind of feel pumped up by the fact that he faces like he faced a million shots a game in San Jose. And I mean, he can save the high danger ones, but low danger ones just not great. And I like Kovalenko. He's been really good for San Jose to start. So, and I mean, getting a second back, and Georgiev's Georgiev. I think Georgiev's playing Colorado tonight as well, by the way. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah, I don't think Blackwood's like the long-term answer, to be honest. I really don't.
I don't think it's the I don't think it's the
I don't think that was the
because
plan either.
That's the point. They just need a stopgap for when
bridge.
until Nabokov eventually gets there because he's 21. He's dominating the KHL. It's just a matter of when he comes over.
Maybe be signing an extension
in KHL
with Metalwork. Yeah.
I feel like Sakic can get them out of that, but hey, like
he's 21.
The window is still wide open for Colorado. Yeah. They can afford to have not a losing season, but a season where they like kind of finish 8th in the standings. It's fine. They have enough high-powered offense to kind of get them through this point. The only thing I'd be concerned about is if they can't re-sign Rantanen about it. So then I'd panic.
He wants like 14, I think.
Which is valid. Yeah. Very valid.
I mean, he's a power forward winger that can play center. I mean, he's great on the draw.
Exactly. Hey, I have one player in my wallet, a one player's card in my wallet that will only be overtaken if I pull a Trevor Zegras card. Oh, that is Shane Wright. My bad.
Nice job, Bozo.
I don't know why I have Shane Wright in my wallet, but I have Mikko Rantanen in my wallet.
Hey.
So, yeah.
I need him to leave Colorado really bad.
And go to where? Your team? All right.
No, I just don't want him in the division.
Too bad.
Just don't want him terrorizing me anymore. Next up, Cam Fowler and a 2027 fourth to St. Louis for the 2027 second and Jeremy Biukabuka.
Great attempt. Great.
Nice. That was awesome.
I tried. But I mean, one of my buddies is a Blues fan. He's not happy about the move because, like, oh great, what do we need? Another old $6.5 million a year defenseman. Oh boy. And like Broberg's playing well.
They did retain though. I know they did retain at least 25%.
It got down to $4 million on the deal, but it's Cam Fowler. It's not great anymore, and his analytics are like really poor. So
that's also partially due to him being absolutely shelled in Anaheim. Yep. So
now he's playing first pairing with Parayko in St. Louis, which I don't hate because I think Parayko's good. So I don't know. I mean, they don't have any defensemen in the pipeline that are ready now, so you're not really blocking anyone unless you want to move Broberg up to the first pair. but like him and Falk are working, so it's kind of like that, I guess. And Fowler's been wanting out for a while. They've been trying to trade Fowler for a while now, so it is what it is. Next up, last night was a night, to say the least, for trades. Let me just make sure to
There's only really one big one, I'll say. So
yeah, but there's like other talking points with at least one other. Can dig into the Rangers on this one. Kako to Seattle, who is making his debut tonight, for Will Borgen, a 2025 third and 2025 sixth. The Rangers are fucked.
it's just a shame. It really is.
Yeah.
No,
The extends just.
I'm here for it. I'm here for that.
I know
Tom.
you're here for it, Jacob. I'm also here for it as a fan
I was
of a
about to say,
Metro team.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
you
I know.
would be too. Yeah,
I know,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I'll tell you why it's a shame for me. As someone who was a ginormous Kako fan in his draft year, my 2019 went Jack Hughes, Capo Kako, and then Trevor Zegras. Yeah, but Capo Kako was like going to be this generational goal scorer from Finland. It's something that we had never seen before, maybe since Patrick Laine, and it was going to be a whole new like generation of incredible offensive talents from Finland. And again, the Rangers screwed it up. And like again, like the whole like generation of Finnish scorers, it didn't actually come to fruition. But I don't really understand how you mess up that sort of prospect. I remember him coming into the draft year. There were talks about him going first overall.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you look at the draft history. If you look at the draft history as the Rangers, once those prospects hit the Rangers system, immediately they stagnate in their
Elias
development, or they
Anderson.
don't. Not even Elias Anderson, because he never made it.
Yeah.
My biggest gripe is with Philip Hedel and Keandre Miller. Keandre Miller was going to be a slam dunk. Like, he was incredible in Wisconsin. He was absolutely incredible, and then he looked solid. And he was a really solid built defenseman. I think he's like 6. Correct me if I'm wrong.
He's like 6'4", 6'5".
6'4", like 200 something, and he skates incredibly. He plays the puck really well. Really solid two-way defense. He had really solid two-way defenseman potential.
This is like
They
his
messed him up.
first like bad year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
But
he's,
again,
he's still fine. I think he'll be all right.
Yeah.
He's a top 4
think-
guy.
I think yes, 100%. But what they did with Kako is inexcusable. I will
agree.
never.
They
I'll
almost
never
did it with
forgive them.
Lafreniere. Almost.
Don't
did
even get
it.
me started.
They do it all the time.
Because I don't know who the development coach is, but I think he's from the
Tanner
2000s.
Glass.
Their development coach is Tanner Glass.
The one of them, yeah.
Well, I don't think it was always Tanner Glass, because
It was during
whoever
that
was-
2017. I know this 2017 through like 19 at least. I know it was Tanner Glass.
all I'll say is that it must have been someone from the clutch and grab era, because that's how a lot of their high end talents have turned into guys who are just defensive support forwards, when that's just not what they've needed. Especially with Panarin showing regression, with Zibanejad showing regression, Kreider showing regression. You cannot keep these guys at elite level production forever. And they needed to supplant them by letting the kid line, which is all ruined now. Hedel, it wasn't his fault. They should have let them develop and try things and try offensive things. But again, it's ruined now. They absolutely destroyed Capo Kako. I wish that he goes full Jared McCann in a Seattle Kraken uniform.
He's on the first line tonight with Beniers.
Oh yeah, Beniers. Okay, I wish it was Beniers and Tolvanen with
It's
Kako.
McCann, Beniers, Kako.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm
Crazy.
I'm going to be a closet Seattle Kraken fan right now. That's gonna be nuts. So
One of my buddies told me this yesterday. Is like Kako also like produced like we've seen him produce better even when he's been in the NHL with like guys he's played with from the World Juniors teams.
Yeah,
like for like fellow countrymen like Tolvi, for example, which they're the only Finns on Seattle right now.
The last thing that I'll say is that the return is not horrible for New York.
It's not.
We're more just talking about like how Kako's been ruined. But Will Borgen is a solid return. He's somebody that I think I've always thought that he has an upside to be a top 4 guy, even though he's not going to get top 4 ice on New York. His results
he had
a bad year
last year. Like were pretty good. This was like his only like terrible year in Seattle.
He needed to get traded. He needed a new fresh scenery. I think he'll do well in New York. And I think getting a second out of the deal too is more than I ever would have expected.
Yeah.
So it's good for them.
Will Borgen's good. I mean, I would not have wanted him in Dallas, but mainly because money. But he's a good depth defenseman, good defensive guy,
Yeah.
good shutdown guy for. Rangers needed a shakeup. I don't know if
And
this is the shakeup to do it.
they
but
traded another guy who was from their expansion draft. So
Yeah,
there you go. The pieces are falling. So
yeah, I know. I don't know how long the Rangers are going to be in this insane slump. Like, holy shit, this is bad. Like,
we'll figure it
with
out. But
with
I
how
don't think
bad I've seen how bad this team is, like Zibanejad.
the bottom will fall out, and I think it might end up in Laviolette leaving at some point. Which
I know
sucks
they
because Lav is great, but
Chris
he's the
Drury
coach.
bad.
Yeah, I think it's Chris Drury all the way. It's a total like this stinks of like Boston this year as well. Like
Yeah.
something's gonna happen and it's gonna suck. So I'm as a Flyers fan, I hope for the worst, but for the players and the teams that I like, I hope for the best. So we'll see what happens.
Next two, just going to breeze through these. P.O. Joseph back to Pittsburgh for future considerations. I mean, I thought it would have been cool to just see P.O. and Matthew Joseph just play in the Winter Classic, and then you just trade him like a day later or so, but whatever. I mean, P.O. Joseph's good. I'm shocked. I mean, it's solid for what he is. He can play. He can be an everyday defenseman.
We'll see.
Yeah,
Maybe on trash Pittsburgh.
yeah.
And
I mean, I hope we just continue to suck. That's what I'm hoping for this
And
year.
then-
I want us to get, if we get a top 5 pick. Oh, that's what I want. I know it's probably unlikely because we'll be
Keep
made,
dreaming,
but
Gallipoli.
I really, oh man, I want us to tank this year so bad.
What makes you
I'll
think
take-
that you're
I'll
hold on?
take
What makes
any
you
of
think that
those
you're
guys
gonna
in the top 5. I'll take any of those guys in the
what
top
makes you
5.
think you're gonna get a top
Anyone
5
will.
pick? What makes you think you're gonna get a top 5 pick and not take like Blake Fiddler, 5th overall?
Yo, I would be so upset. I would be. We don't have. Oh man, we don't have Hextall anymore, so that's not gonna happen. That's
We'll
not
see.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
And what's the
No,
final trade,
I'd be
Zach?
okay with. I'd be okay with
Uh,
going top 5, getting like. I'd get Misa, McQueen, or even
Or
like
Tone.
Frundell. I like Frundell a lot.
All right.
Eklund.
Eklund's gone by
Eklund.
4.
Last one. I found this one really weird. Alex Carey to Montreal for Justin Barron. I don't know why Montreal's buying. I know Justin.
It's a nothing trade.
Yeah, I mean, I know Justin Barron sucks. But...
Your boy Sicky on Instagram kind of went nuts, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, because Alex Carey is like his underlying numbers are good.
Yeah, he's always been a solid defenseman, but like again, Abs
He could be-
fans are.
He could be good with Hudson. I feel like he could be a good partner for Hudson because he's more of a defensive guy.
We'll see. I don't want to talk about Hudson right now. I want to
Yeah,
talk
I
about
know
World
you
Juniors.
don't. All right, moving on to the World Juniors. I'm fine with that. Starting with any team, I think we should start with our team, the red, white, and blue, Merca. This is the most patriotic I get every year. So
Same.
it's a good team. A lot of returning faces. Link, you can start. You probably. Oh wait.
Well, yeah, there's
Let me
8
pull it up.
returning. All right. Well, there's 8 returning faces this year. I'm very excited about the team. Obviously the top line, Ryan Leonard, James Higgins, and Gabe Perreault will be a solid line. Of course, they've produced at BC. They'll produce even better at at international stage. People that I think are really going under the radar for this team are Austin Bernovic, who's going to be on the top power play line with Zeev Bouillon and the aforementioned BC line. Bernovic has really been excelling. He was great in Madison last year, and he was under my radar, which is kind of rare. And this year he's putting up great numbers at St. Cloud State, so gotta love him. On the defensive side, people say that it's weaker than last year. I will fight them tooth and nail about it this year. It's Zeev Bouillon is going to be incredible. Aaron Mnuchin has gone to another level, Minetian is what other people say. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, my bad. But Aaron Minetian will be a solid second line guy. If not him, then Cole Hudson. But there's some towers in the back end with Colin Ralph and Adam Kleber, and they've both been great playing Minnesota State hockey. Love it. Oh no, sorry, they're not Minnesota State, but Ralph, I forget what he's having a great year. Everyone's talking about how good of a year he's having. And
Who's
Kleber's at
prospect too?
UMD.
He's
Colin Ralph.
Ralph's at St. Cloud.
Great. Awesome. But yeah. And then Trey Augustine, his third straight year coming back to the World Juniors, the best goalie in the tournament.
Was Fowler not eligible to return?
I think he wasn't eligible. So.
Okay, I was wondering, like, oh wait, why is
yeah. And then another one that another underrated Hampton Slukinski. All right, they go
I've heard
nuts
of him.
for this guy in my
I've heard of him
in the recruit scouting group chat. They go absolutely nuts for this guy. Gabe Foley is a huge proponent of this guy at Western Michigan.
Kings goalie. So Kings have like a sneaky good they have
a sneaky good thing
prospects.
So
with Portillo, George, and I can't say his name.
I think some other underrated players on this team that people won't talk about. Oliver Moore. I had him in my top 10 in 2023, and this is his second tournament. Hopefully, he's going to get more ice time. I think he'll definitely center like a line of Trevor Connolly.
Right?
Yeah, either him or if they put Connolly at C, I think he should be slotted in with Cole Eiserman either way. But then Brody Zemer and Teddy Stiga fought onto this team along with Max Plant and Joey Willis. It's an undersized forward core after the top 6, but they're very gritty guys. They know how to hit. Brody Zemer, especially, he's nobody talks about him and how good he is. I think he's going to be a top 9 guy at the end of the day.
He's a dog.
That's kind of my analysis. If you guys want to jump in and say the names,
he's so good, man. No, I mean Danny Nelson. I'll also just mention him. Very versatile guy. He's a versatile player. Can play.
He's not my favorite, but I still like him.
Versatile player, can play in any situation.
Jacob,
you didn't mention Fortescue.
I do. Fortescue's fine. I think he's as good as Zeev William is going to be this year. Again, he's a great defenseman.
Got a real chance. I think Zeev. I mean, you've said this to me. Zeev has a real chance winning best defenseman at the tournament.
Him or Sandin Pellica. Yeah.
I'd take.
You want to talk about the?
To be honest.
Let me say this about Ryan Leonard real quick. That's one guy who, I mean, it can just rise to any situation. Very clutch player. We saw it last year. I think there's a real chance he could potentially win like tournament MVP. I really do. I'm so high on Ryan Leonard, man. I'm so fucking high.
I think a lot of people are. Jacob, do you want to talk about who the elephant in the room is for who didn't make this roster?
You got it, Link.
EJ Emery is the big name that didn't make the roster. He was a top 30 pick this year.
Oh, I thought you were going to mention Blake Fiddler.
That's what I thought he was.
No, come on, no. So Blake Fiddler and Logan Hensler, along with James Higgins, are the 325 eligibles that were invited to camp. I was not expecting either of them to make it. The fact that Hensler made it says a lot about his game.
You didn't think Hensler was going to make it?
I didn't think
Hensler's been having a really rough year.
But
I wouldn't say rough.
Still showcase. I wouldn't
say rough. Hensler's been fine. He's just been adjusting to the game, just like James Higgins has. He's more of an offensive defenseman.
Been more snake bitten.
Higgins has been great as of late. Yeah. I will say that.
He was more snake bitten to begin the year, though.
I wouldn't even say that either. He's just getting used to it. Hensler making it says a lot about him, but EJ Emery is having a fantastic year at UND. Better than I would have thought. Like he's in top 20 for the Hobie Baker contention, in my opinion.
Really?
Maybe people think that I'm crazy for that, but I'll list it off off the pod if not. But EJ Emery's been great.
He's a rock. He's an absolute just rock on the back end.
But
defensively, yeah. I mean, the reason, top 20 Hobie Baker. I mean, no offense, Link. I mean, one. I know it's just fucking stat watching because obviously one assist in
the games too,
19 games. Yeah, I know that, but one assist in 19 games.
He's probably
I'm also assuming he's creating good chances as well. Obviously.
Yeah, and again, a lot of this is just kind of like you have to watch what he does in the game.
Yeah.
Like he was a solid defensive, and he didn't score many points last year, and he still won in the first round last year. That's not his game. Rock defensively, very physical. Great in transition, but he
reminds me of
the points don't really happen.
Like Chris Tanev in a way.
Yeah.
The defenseman you'd love to have, can play in any situation.
But in the USA defense, I think that them going with Kleber and Ralph negated the idea of having another tall defenseman on the back end. So
Yeah.
I don't really have any complaints. I think the defense is really solid, more solid than people think. The forward core is not as loaded as last year, but it's going to be a really disgusting forward core again. So, and then we don't need to talk about Augustine because he's
so good.
he's Trey Augustine. So
I don't. Yeah, there's not really any like notable guys who didn't really make it. I mean, again, EJ
Yeah.
Emery was like really it. So
you can talk about Quentin Musty, but it's like that's
there's
kind of like
there's stuff
there's
going
thing-
on.
there's
Break
things
his
behind-
arm, his hand or something like that.
Yeah, that was a part. That was one of it. I forget if he's back playing now.
he is going to be back soon.
Yeah.
From what I heard is that it was partially the hand, but it was also again there's some politics behind why he is not really invited to USA hockey teams.
And
for
it's
past
the
few
other
years, so
reason he's in the
which yeah.
OHL. So
Yeah, we don't have to get into it, but
yeah.
let's move on.
Team Canada. I only have the lineup pulled up. I don't have the full roster.
I
So
have
if
the
I
full
miss,
roster.
please.
So again, we've got 5 returners: Jaeger, Rakoff, Cowan,
They
Molendyk,
side note, they announced their leadership today. Jaeger got the C, and
As expected.
Molendyk and
Rakoff.
Rakoff. Was it Rakoff? Really?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
It was
was it Richie?
Molendyk. Yeah, it was Molendyk and Richie who got the A's. Yes.
Gotcha. Gotta say, I really like the returners. Cowan, again, he had a bad year last year with the World Juniors. I think Fraser Minton played better than him, which does not help his case out at all. But Rakoff's been great. He's been incredible at
So
Coachella
good.
Valley. Braden Yeager
He's been at Brampton.
Braden Yeager, in my opinion, is the best player on this team. And people can come at me like, oh, Gavin McKenna, oh, Porter Martone, or Matthew Schaefer. We'll get there. But I think Braden Yeager is the tournament is the best player on this team, which is solid. Then we'll talk about Callum
I
Ritchie.
can see Jacob's face.
Look, hey, that's your mistake. That's not my mistake. Look,
I agree. It was a mistake. I fully agree. I'm with you. I'm with
Yeah.
you on it.
Richie is going to be really solid. He's going to be an underrated point scorer. He's going to be their. He might be their 1C if
He
Braden
might,
Yeager.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
It depends where they decide to put Catton and all that.
Catton's going to be a wing, in my opinion. If he's
Yeah.
not,
Should
then
be.
they're
He
making a
should
mistake.
be.
He should be a wing because
He is
again,
a
he's
wing.
going to be. Yeah, we're all going to say it.
Yeah.
Now I think it's time to. I'll talk about the okay. Molendyk again is a dark horse for
Love
defenseman of the
Molendyk.
tournament. And
Love
so
him.
is Schaefer. Yeah,
He's unbelievable.
I don't think
Oliver
Schaefer's
Molendyk is
really. I don't think
unbelievable.
Schaefer's really a dark horse for a best defenseman tournament, considering how much buzz he's getting.
I
yeah,
feel like
but
he's a dark horse. I feel like he's.
I'll
a bit
get
of a
there.
dark
I'll get there. Oliver Bonk, Sam Dickinson, 2 London Knights defensemen. I think Bonk has been pretty solidly like. Because you have the rosters lined up. He's been with the who's he with right now? It's Bo Akey, right?
Yeah, he is with Sawyer Mineo.
Sawyer Mineo. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see what
there's a
happens there.
lineup today because I forget what
They're
doing
playing right
for
now. They're actually playing
Yeah,
this right now.
their extras for this right now is Caden Price and McKenna.
So that leads me into the. Usually, it is a once in a generation thing when there is a underager on this team. Connor Bedard comes to mind as the most recent one.
That's Connor
This
Bedard.
year they have 3: Porter Martone, Gavin McKenna, and Matthew Schaefer. In my opinion, only one of them should be there, and that's
Schaefer.
Matthew Schaefer, because he's just been distinguished himself a lot. It's tough to see him there without Yakimchuk and Perek, but that's unfortunately where we are right now. But Schaefer's going to be probably their best offensive defenseman this unless Tanner Molendyk goes off, and that could very well happen. As for Porter Martone and Jet Luchenko, Porter Martone and Gavin McKenna, Martone can definitely find himself a spot. I personally think that Michael Misa is better fit in the bottom 6 than Martone, because Martone is going to be kind of a puck hog. And with Gavin McKenna, I'm going to come out and say it. I don't get it.
If you're hold on, let me. I kind of understand why. Because
because
here's the thing: Team Canada. It's Team Canada. It's always a weird roster configuration. And B, like right now he's an extra. If you're not going to play him really much at all, what's the point in bringing him?
There are a lot of people who are of the opinion that he is going to make his way and become the forward of the tournament. But again, I've been firm on
Not
this.
this year.
I've been firmly on this.
I
Like
don't know about
he,
front of the tournament,
he
but
is
he'll be
he is
a beast.
he is more Michael Misa than he is Connor Bedard, and he is going to be a foible to any line that he plays on, and that's something that he's not going to be great at because he is going to be he is the show. He is the Gavin McKenna show. He's going to be great at the next year's tournament in Minnesota. He is going to be probably a candidate to win forward of the tournament there.
I didn't know
But
that many.
this year, this team is not going to be built around him unless he legitimately goes Super Saiyan and proves me wrong and makes me look like an idiot. I really think that Michael Misa and Beckett Seneca, for Gavin McKenna to be on there and none of them to be on there is absolutely ridiculous.
I've said this before, like the way this year, at least this year and like last year's Team Canada has been built, it's built more like two-way, gritty. But they tried it last year. I don't really see going with it again.
We'll see what they do. But Jet Luchenko's another good get. I mean, I'm a Flyers fan and I'm going to be biased, but he made the Flyers out of camp. And that shows a lot. And he's been an incredible center with Guelph, a terrible Guelph team, mind you.
It's horrible.
He's been fast. He's been great on draws. He's been shooting. He's been scoring. He needs to be traded. There needs to be a massive trade. So we'll see what happens with him. But I'm a huge fan of that. And then in net, they got Bjarnason, George, and Ivan Kovic. It should be Bjarnason every game with George maybe getting one start. I love you, Ivan Kovic, but it should have been Ravensburg.
He's the second best
I
goalie.
fully agree. It should have been Ravensburg.
It should have been Ravensburg.
100% should have been Ravensburg.
And I love Ivan Kovic. He's a top 40
I was
player.
curious about if you were going to say that or not. Okay, that's
yeah,
good.
no, he's a top 40 player for me.
Second best goalie in the draft.
I agree.
That's unfortunate. So, but yeah, I agree with it. So, any thoughts from you guys?
I mean, kind of hit all of them. I mean, I wish we were seeing Perrick and Yakimchuk as well. Yeah. I mean, Jake, you guys know this. I'm a oh god, yeah, Green Tree, holy shit. And Green Tree's having an amazing year, yeah.
And
those are all players that are
Tidge had the hip.
Yeah, but like that's
very unfortunate. Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue as well. Misa should have made the tournament, but that's another underager, and they obviously don't like have underagers out of the tournament.
I'm making that case because I have Misa over both Martone and Schaefer at the moment.
Martone is interesting because he can play both center and wing. I do think he's more of a winger at the end of the day.
He's 100% a wing. I don't think he's gonna play center at the NHL level.
Their lineup configuration is going to be very interesting. I'm really interested to see how they just do this because right now it's Nadeau, Ritchie, Cowan, Martone, Cadden, Rakoff, Howe, Luchenko, Cataford, Gauthier, Jaeger, and Baudouin. So
I also don't really understand the Baudouin, but like
for what they're trying, this play style they're trying to, I kind of understand it.
Yeah,
but
I'm still not the biggest fan of them though.
Better choices than Cole Baudouin.
Not when you leave Seneca and all those guys out on the table. I can't get behind a Baudouin.
It's not even a skill thing. It's just like if they can do all those things and also provide offensive flair. I know I've seen it from Seneca. He started on the third line last year. Misa can legitimately play anywhere. Yeah, anywhere, any line, anywhere, and like you can tell him to be a 13th forward and go out there for 2 minutes. Those will be the best 2 minutes any player gives you on that ice. I'm serious. So that's my gripes with it, but we can move on if you want. So
yeah, if you have, just go to your favorite. I think both our favorites of the tournament. Sweden, right?
I would say the USA is now my favorite but like Sweden's good. Sweden's gonna be good. Starting off with the returners, they have a lot of returners. I think they have in total 9. Yes, 9 returners. Otto Stenberg, yikes, that's gonna be nuts. He scored 9 points last year, and nobody talks about it. Not a single.
He's good. Good.
He's really solid.
Two-way guy.
Felix Ungersorum had 4 assists last year. David Edstrom had 4 assists.
He's having a really good year too.
Yeah. Anton Wahlberg is going to be a really solid piece for the Buffalo Sabres in the future.
Big boy. And
then Zeb Forsfjall is just a
one of our guys.
And then Felix Nelson looks pretty good. I personally was really big fan of Linus Eriksson and Herman Traff last year. But I think the big talking point in their forward core is Victor Eklund, the underager. Yeah. He played his way onto this roster.
Plays like his brother.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, no, I think he's better than his brother, 100%.
I think he's better.
Yeah, and
he's definitely going to be better at least.
I think it's very telling that he made it over Anton Frundell And Frundell was a top 3 pick in my opinion at the beginning of the year, and he's
Yes.
completely behind that at that point. He is not playing well, and he's almost out of my top 10.
He's
But
very,
that
very talented. We know. Again, I'll just pause here. We know he has the talent, and just put it all together, and then
yeah. So
He's
and
gonna be
some,
fine. Whatever team he goes to, he's gonna be great. I'm
All right.
huge on Frundell. I can't lie.
we'll talk
I
about
like
that
him a
later.
lot.
And then defensively,
Defensively, we got ASP. He's probably primed to be the defenseman of the tournament.
yeah.
The most underrated player from the 2023 draft class, Tom
Theo.
Vielander.
Yeah. Oh.
Tom
Theo
Vielander is gonna
Lindstein.
be, nah, come on. Theo Lindstein's great. He's fantastic.
He's
He
really
showed a lot last year as he was an extra defenseman added to the tournament. I think he still got 6 assists.
Yeah, he was
So,
great, and he's
yeah.
more of a defensive guy too.
As for the back end, I've watched a couple of games with Bergqvist and Hurtig, but Viggo Gustafsson was a guy that I watched a
Yeah,
lot
I've
of
heard of him.
more than anyone else, and he wasn't my favorite, but he was someone that could really just
Nice.
really just give you some really solid minutes. He didn't panic under pressure, and that's something that I really liked. And then in goal, it's Melker Thelen again. He's probably, I'm not going to say that he's going to start because again, I said that last year, and then Hugo Havelid did great. I think it'll be Gidloff who can overperform because he's a tall dude. He's a tall dude in net. Melvin Strahl, he plays for Youngstown. I don't think he's going to get the nod, but if he does, it'd be very interesting. So
There's not really, I think, any big omissions. Like even Frundell hasn't played well. He kind of played his way off
I'll
the
make
team.
the case for Leo Solon Wallenius, but
Oh yeah, LSW.
But more importantly, his pairing mate. Oh my gosh, I'm completely forgetting his name.
I mean, LSW is really good. I'm
Yeah.
a big fan of
Hold
LSW.
on.
Good.
I'm actually
really good.
this is bothering me. Hold on. I don't know why I'm forgetting this guy's
They're
name.
probably top 2, right? Like USA and then Sweden. right?
I would say they are top 2
Yeah.
firmly. What was I gonna say his name? Oh yeah, Alphonse Frey. I don't know why I forgot his name.
Yeah.
But he was somebody
Right,
that I wish was on this roster.
Jacob was
but
a
it's a
huge
shame.
fan of him.
I
Yeah.
love Alphonse.
They had a lot of guys age out this year because they were loaded last year. They're pretty loaded again. But again, it's going to see who emerges. This is a smaller Swedish team. This is a slower Swedish team. So we'll have to see what happens.
And which country did you really want? You mentioned that you really wanted to talk about. Let's go to them. It was what?
Oh,
It was a Czechia or Slovakia? I forget.
well, I want to start. I'm kind of going in order, so I'm going to go Finland.
Okay, it's a weak Finnish group, right?
Yeah. I mean, say what you will with it. They were really surprising last year. It sucks they're not going to have Bao or Neiman this year, but Konsta Helenius is going to lead this group. He had a weaker tournament because again, he wasn't playing the big minutes last year.
Now he
Emil
will.
Hemming is not having a great year,
Yeah, I know.
but he made this team, and this is his opportunity to show what he's got. You've got
He's
Rasmus Kumpalainen as well.
I like Kump.
Kump's gonna be good. Jesse Kiskinen is another guy who's gonna be solid. But I like the guys who were the 2024 draftees, like Heikki Ruohonen. Kasper Halttunen was a 2023, but I still like him as well.
Love him.
Love
him.
Ultimate guy.
Jesse Nurmi. You do have some players there. Oh, completely forgot to say his name. Julius Miettinen.
Yeah, Miettinen.
What a player. He's gonna be factoring in a lot of tough minutes for them this year. And then looking at the defense again, we're really just seeing how Aaron Kiviharju does at this international stage because he was there 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He was not there because of injury last year, and then we're gonna see what he does with I think Callie Kangas will probably be his line mate, but we'll see. And then VD Väisänen is behind him, and then Sebastian Soini is the only other guy that, like, I've seen extended viewings on. And then Noah Valley is expected to be the starter with Kim Sarainen backing him up. So
yeah. I mean, with Hemming, like 20 and 30. I know he hasn't looked great. He's getting used. I will defend him here and saying he's getting used to North American ice.
yeah,
But you do kind of want to see more. The shot's there. He only has 5 goals.
yeah,
Which is very shocking. But
that's
he's going to progress. I think more next year. Obviously, I think next year. I think it'll be a bigger year for him. This year's more just getting used to North American ice.
yeah.
hopefully, I mean, obviously, as a Stars fan, I want to see more progression from him. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
We'll move on to Czechia quickly. We'll just be moving quickly. Does that work?
yeah.
So for Czechia, I mean, there are some pretty nasty omissions here. This is the most egregious omissions since Canada this
Yeah.
year. Well, we can talk about that because Adam Benak's not on this team. Radim Murtka's not on this team, but I think most egregiously, Dominic Badinka is not on this team. And he's playing hard SHL minutes. I will
Yeah.
be in Malmo most every weekend when I'm abroad in Denmark to see Badinka play, and I will be like, "What are they doing? One, how did he not go in the first round? And two,
Yeah.
why was he not selected in the World Juniors?"
Oh, never mind. Here
I
it
heard
is.
there were issues about him not wanting to.
Yeah,
so
I
they
just
kept
saw.
him
Yeah,
out
I just
for-
scrolled up a bit to see this tweet. But
I
Inca's
thi-
not on
I
Czech's
still
roster
think
because
that's ridiculous.
he refused to play at previous tournaments.
Right.
I think
yeah,
that's
I
still
saw
ridiculous.
That one.
Whatever.
So-
But let's get into the team. Wojciech Shihar is a draft eligible forward who I think is really solid. He's in my top 60-ish range. Adam Yeko was the guy who went last year. He is just a beast.
Big.
He's become way better skating. If
Yeah.
he was skating like this last year, he'd easily
He
be in
would
my
have
top
been
3.
way higher in the draft.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Miroslav Holinka is another big body. I really like him. He's really solid. Edward Shala is back for another year.
I have no idea how he's doing with Coachella.
He had an okay World Juniors last year. He was not great last year. I don't know where he's at this year, but he's
in Coachella.
yeah. I don't think he's that great of a player.
13 and 23. He's a project, but he hasn't been great.
He was
He had
drafted
a
for
lot of
his
tools. He
abilities.
had a lot of tools, and I guess he's just not putting it together.
Yeah. And the other big players that I would say that like stand out to me on this roster, I would say probably Adam Novotny, the 2026 eligible. We'll see how much he gets in terms of like leeway. Andre Kosh is another big one too. I think he was a draft eligible last year. Then Adam Zilichki, another guy that I've liked. But again, this is a really weak forward core for the Czechs. One of the weakest I've seen in a long time. I mean, it sucks because you don't have Shapovalov or Kulik again, and even Andre Becker and Dominic Ryman. Or it's a tough year. So they're gonna definitely fall a little harder, and they'll be kind of slim pickings for other teams. Moving on to the defenseman, Jakob Fibiger is going to be a really solid pick for them. He's been playing great for Brampton, but he's had a lot of help. Tomas Galvish was I can't believe he wasn't drafted last year.
Yeah, I know. I'm shocked by that too. He should get drafted this year.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bite my tongue on that, but
Adam Yurchek, this is his time to shine because he got injured in this tournament last year.
Mhm.
But I think my favorite for among the defensemen, and people will probably be like, "What are you talking about?" I think Wojtek Port will probably end up being the best defenseman for the Czechs, because he's been solid in the Anaheim system. I think he's in the WHL now, but he's been playing really well. Anytime that
under the radar guys from Anaheim system, this like him, Austin. I can't say his last name. Austin Bernovic.
Yeah. And then in net, Michael Horabal is expected to be the starter, even though he's had a really rough year with UMass.
Big boy.
But he's had a rough year with UMass. I'm really excited with that.
I fucking met the guy in Nashville. The guy just fucking towered over me.
Yeah. And then I think the backup should be a Jakob.
I told you this. The store thing. The store thing. Bumped into him. No, you were not.
No, that's not.
Big boy. He's like what, 6'7", 6'8". So weird Czechia team. I mean, again, I don't think they're going to be fighting for relegation. Not anything like that. They shouldn't, at least.
No, they might fall to like a weaker team, but yeah.
Moved
so
Slovak.
We'll see. Is their roster even out yet?
Slovakia, no clue.
They named training camp.
Sick.
I don't know. I gotta find their roster though.
Slovakia World Juniors. I guess like we'll touch on Germany and
yeah.
Why am I confused by the other country?
Maybe we could just talk about like who could make the Slovak roster. So
give me a second. Yeah, give me a sec. You start because I'm trying.
Well, it's Dalibor Dvorsky's last year of eligibility.
Yeah, he'll make it. Obviously.
So, well, he's probably, let's just assume he's on the roster.
Sturbach.
Yeah, Sturbach's, unless he No, Sturbach's gonna be there. He's doing great at Michigan State. I saw him last year. Samuel Urban will probably be the lead goaltender there. Luka Radivojevic,
Yeah.
in
I'm
Muskegon.
big on him. I'm big on him for this year.
Yeah, I'm
Uri
solid on him too.
Pekarsik.
Yep, he's another big guy. Frantisek Day is is one of my favorites. He is 6'4", ginormous, and he's playing great in Dunkle Trenčín, in Slovakia. So big fan of him. In terms of the underagers, gotta love Tomáš Pojal. He's my top 50, like at 50 for me, and I really liked what he's done in Nitra. And then the other two draft eligibles are Radivojevic and Jan Chauvin in Tappara in Finland, but he hasn't been my favorite this year. So we will see what happens with him. So
Twice Tomek as well. It should be an interesting team. Again, not a team that I think will be fighting for relegation. Maybe. What the teams that are going to be fighting for relegation are like what Germany and what's the other countries that again I forget.
Germany and Kazakhstan will probably be fighting for relegation. So
sucks for Germany. Side note: I don't really know anyone outside the Grieva twins, and they're not even on the roster. So
yeah,
right. It should be a good tournament. What day does it start again? I honestly forget.
The 26th, Boxing Day.
Yay! Forget what I'm doing that day. Oh yeah, Hanukkah starts.
Do you want to run through like the bottom four or something like that really quick?
Yeah, sure.
So again, Switzerland, they could be a team that they have a sneaky solid team this year. I wouldn't say that's like amazing. I guess the biggest news that came out of that is that their 15-year-old, not Elijah, I think it's Jonas Neuenschwander from he's been looking really solid.
Yeah.
He's 15 years old. I think he's the same year as Landon DuPont.
Yeah,
in terms of draft eligibility.
15, yeah, he should be.
But again, it's a solid-ish team. I think it's one of their strongest offensively since pre-COVID because they've got Leo Briard from Lethbridge. They've got Simon Meyer from the Penticton. Oh my gosh, who's Jaromiro Weber, who is Jaromiro Reber, sorry, who is the draft eligible. And then they also have Lars Steiner from Royan Noranda. And then on defense, again, I'm a big fan of Leon Mugli. Really solid there. Daniel Ustinkov, but I don't think he's going to be making he's not going to be making the roster a lot. He might be a seventh defenseman. And then Timo Bunzli from ZSC, really solid. And then Christian Kirch is another guy that I think could make a really solid run as a goaltender. He's in net right now against Canada. I don't know how he's doing because I'm not watching the game. And then we've got Latvia, who I did a special. I did some good work on the Latvian team. I wrote for recruit scouting, and I was really close with the teams that I made. So their official team, they have Leonards Feldbergs and Axels Ozils. And I think that Feldsberg is going to be the starter. He's been great in the QMJHL. Ozils will be a nice backup for them. On defense, Daryl Ulyanskis was drafted by the Anaheim Ducks in the 7th round. He already looks fantastic in the J20 this year. Pateris Bulans, he's back. He looks really good for Chicoutimi in the Q. And then Harius Sionskis from Royan Noranda. Yeah, I'm right. Also looks pretty solid. And he is not an underager, but he's got a baby face, so he's got a lot of growth. Eric Smateko, 6'6", 209 pounds. I think he was a 3rd rounder to the Capitals last year. He's gritty, and you're gonna really like him. This is a very gritty team for Czechia. They've got Tom Zmats, who's back. They've got Raul Ozalapa, who's also back as well. Again, it sucks they don't have Vilmanis. They don't have the other two guys. I forgot their names. They're really tough. But again, they have some draft eligibles in Carlos Flugens and Oliver's Murineks. So I'm a big fan of it. I like the team. I think they're going to upset a lot of teams this year.
I feel like one of the countries always does, right?
So this will be a team on upset watch. And then the teams that I think are going to get relegated. Germany. It's a rough year for Germany, unfortunately. They I take your pick for who starts. The goaltending is not great. I think has the best chance. And then besides that, it's just kind of Noran Panoka, the Tower of Rio Kaiser, and maybe David Lewandowski and Maxim Schaefer or Julius Sumpf makes an appearance.
By the way, side note, it was 3-0 in this Jackets game like 2 minutes ago. We're in
What's
the
it now?
final like minute and a half. It's 3-2. Jackets have like 19 shots on goal. Devils have 40, 43 or 46.
That's I don't even know, man. And then for Kazakhstan, I don't really know anything about this roster. Vladimir Nikitin is a Senators draft eligible. But-
We need Russia back.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? There's one guy who was in ACHA. Is their captain? There was a guy who was in the ACHA at I don't even know, but he is now their captain. I think is it Abzal Alabek? No,
No clue.
he's playing in the null. All right,
Mm.
yeah. I don't look this. We need some stronger
We're
competition
a
back.
team.
Hopefully, Norway comes back. Actually, no, Denmark's coming back, but Norway should have not been relegated last year because they were a solid team this year. Denmark's coming up next year, and I think they're going to replace either Germany or Kazakhstan, or
Hopefully Russia's back next year.
hopefully the Russian athletes are back under a different banner, so no controversy comes from that.
Yeah,
So we'll see.
exactly. Yeah, because it's Olympic year next year too, so they're gonna have to find a way to add them back.
But we'll see.
But
But
it should be a good tournament.
I hope I didn't put you guys to sleep with my World Juniors.
Nah, all
jargon, so.
good, all good.
No, I'm sitting there listening to it. I enjoyed that.
Should be a really good tournament.
I agree with a lot of stuff that you got there. So that was nice listening to that.
So,
good.
but yeah, no, I we'll see what happens. But in terms of predictions, I'll say this:
Merca.
I am firmly biased here. I'm a biased individual, and I know you two are too. But I think the United States, pound for pound, is going to be just as good as Canada with a better goalie and a more solid, well-rounded defense.
I just saw Luke Hughes just have a tantrum on the ice.
I love it. But Canada's going to be solid this year. It's gonna be about how much McKenna goes off. Honestly, it might be based on McKenna, but I think it's going to hurt how much they didn't bring their skill guys, and I think it's going to change how they do their World Juniors roster from here on out.
I
I
think
thought
next.
you weren't on the McKenna train. I thought you weren't on the McKenna.
It's gonna be all or nothing. I'm not convinced that he's like a generational player. That's what I'm gonna say.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean, he could
I'm
be
saying
in
that
that.
I'm saying that he's
Tilly, Carlson, that kind of tier.
I think that he's in the tier of Michael Misa. They're fantastic players, but are they world breaking guys that are guaranteed first overalls every year? We can't just throw the word generational around. All right.
Yeah.
So Gavin McKenna,
I agree with that.
until he earns it.
McKenna's
Until he earns
going to
it.
be ungodly good. I think he's going to be. There's a reason he's getting on this team now. Like
I mean, but I don't know if they'll play him.
We'll see. That's the thing. So we'll see if they do that. But if he goes off and proves me wrong, good for them.
Make a few predictions now. USA wins it. I'm totally not biased saying
Who's
this.
in the gold medal game and gets silver?
USA wins gold. I'll put. I don't know the groups exactly. I haven't looked that up at the moment.
I'll let me look at them. Oh, actually,
But
I'll actually try to remember here because it's USA, Canada, Finland, Latvia.
Okay, so my prediction's not in the same group then. Okay,
and I think Kazakhstan is also in that group.
My prediction is USA gold, Sweden silver, bronze. I'll go.
It's gotta be Canada.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if you said Finland, dude.
I was close to. I was actually.
I heard it. I'm like, there's no way he's about to say Finland right now.
I think it'll be those three. I think any of those three can take gold. Honestly,
I think I'm praying for another USA Canada gold medal game.
I don't think it'll happen. With this roster,
I kind of think that it's gonna be Canada might win on New Year's Eve, and then USA can take gold.
And awards, best league MVP. I mean tournament MVP / best forward.
Wait, you didn't get you didn't let me and Jacob get our.
Sorry.
But
Sorry.
Damn,
Sorry.
bro.
Jacob, who's your metal guys? Who's in?
Yeah.
Give me
So
your
I
top
think
four.
I'm gonna go. U.S., Canada, and then Sweden. I think there's a lot of things in on the U.S. team that I think will bode well for them. I think James Higgins, he's got to be seeing all this talk about other people possibly going first overall, knowing he had so much hype coming up. I think he's going to come out here and he's going to wow a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
The way he's been
gonna
playing in
blow.
Canada, the way that he's been playing in college, really is going to translate so well.
It's going to translate so well because he's playing grown, like his play is going to be unbelievable. I'm really excited for him. I'm excited for even the lower guys like Joey Willis. He's been tearing it up. So I mean, I think from the top down, the U.S. has an unbelievable team of guys that are just hungry. I think these guys are hungry, and I
Yeah.
think the Canadian team. I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's just got weird. Like
It's kind of like last year's vibes in the sense of like it's a grittier
Yeah.
two-way team.
yeah.
I-
So
yeah.
I think in that sense, like obviously their talent is undeniable, and I think I'm on board with you about the McKenna thing. I think he's going to be the wild card for them. He's going to be the kind of the decision maker because there's going to be a lot of times where the top end talent is going to be neutralized a little bit more than other times, and he's going to have to come out there and be a difference maker on the bottom lines there. And I think that's going to be a make or break for them at some points.
Yeah, and then
like
for
you were
mine,
saying, like you're going to have guys. My bad. Sorry. Yeah, you're going to have
No, go
guys that didn't make it, like you were talking about, like Seneca and those guys that didn't make it, and McKenna did. So you have those kind of times where he's going to get out there and he's going to be either make or break, knowing that you could have gotten, one of those guys in. And yeah, that's all.
the pressure is gonna be really heavy on him, especially, and then a long term, like also with the other guys who were fringe guys like Cataford,
Yeah.
Bo Akey, Sawyer Minio,
I was kind of shocked by like he made it.
same. But I'm still gonna ride with you with the U.S. winning gold. I think it's a closer year than other years, and it's tough. But I think I'm gonna have Canada just beat out Sweden for the silver. And again, we're just gonna have to see with how on January 1st it's gonna be very clear to see who's gonna win gold, who's the easier path to the gold medal.
Top three is all like
It's locked in.
Yeah, it's very close.
And then I would say, as a shocker, I think that I think Slovakia could definitely make a run to the bronze. But like Sweden, it'll be a Sweden versus Slovakia or Sweden versus Finland bronze. I think it'll be very shocking if one of the top three does not make it to the medal round.
Yeah, and I think it would even be shocking if one of them if any of the three don't medal.
But all it takes, realistically, all it takes is like in Samuel Urban or Noah Valley or a Michael Hrobal shutout performance, and then one of them's gone. So we'll see. I really think I really agree with what you said about Higgins, Jacob. That's it. This is make or break for him. But it's also make or break for Porter Martone and Matthew Schaefer. I think Schaefer the three of them could all solidify themselves as the first overall pick with this tournament.
Yeah.
And then
100%.
the pressure is on for Gavin McKenna. It's we're gonna see whether or not he is what everyone says he is, or he is what I think he is. And I think he's another Trevor Zegras, which is great. He's going to be an excellent player someday. He really will. But he's very skill based. I haven't seen a lot of well-roundedness to his game, and he's very puck hungry. That won't work. That won't work on the bottom nine lines. You either play him number one, or he's your 13 forward. So we'll see.
I can get behind that. I can get behind that message. That makes sense.
Yeah.
You have to build around him, or you don't have him.
That's why I didn't want him on the roster to begin with. But hey, he made it. He's here. We'll see what he does for Canada. In terms of one more prediction I'll give, we can talk about dark horses for because I think there's a pretty set favorite for best forward, best goalie, best defenseman. Best defenseman. I'm gonna give a dark horse to Aaron Kiviharju. This
is very make or break for him.
This is his first tournament this is his first World Juniors in 2 years.
Oh.
He played in 2022.
Yes.
And he was not bad. I really liked him in 2022. He was young. He was still small. He's still going to be small this year.
Still is.
But this is a year for him where he can prove to us what he's made of. And then other dark horses for the forward of the tournament. I'm gonna go in. This is gonna be a little odd, but I'm gonna go inside the United States roster, and I think Cole Iserman could
motherfucker.
We'll talk about it. Cole Iserman could be a dark horse. He's someone that
I was gonna mention
fully
him.
go off.
I was gonna mention him
again
as a dark horse.
He could have a hat-trick game that defines the tournament and defines his career. And then for goaltending, I mean, I'll just throw up an easy one. Michael Herbal, the total comeback story.
Very underrated goalie. I know he's having a rough year, but he's a very underrated goalie prospect. I'll just go my, tournament MVP and forward of the tournament, Ryan Leonard. I mean,
by the way, all mine were dark horses. So this is just so I mean, it's still gonna be Zeev, Trey, and Ryan for my top three. But
dark horse wise for forward of the tournament, there's a lot of good ones to choose from. Honestly, it doesn't have to be from the team we think is getting gold, right?
It can be from whatever team you want. So,
ooh,
Tim Stutzla won forward of the tournament in 2021, I think. 2020.
There's a few guys I'm thinking of that could be a dark horse. Trying to think.
Want us to come back to you, Zach?
Yeah. Defenseman wise, I kind of agree with the Matthew Schaefer thing. I can see Matthew Schaefer winning. I can see a few defensemen winning. I can see ASP, Matthew Schaefer, Z Boyum. Z Boy. There's so many great defensemen in this tournament. It's hard to choose from one. Goaltender. I mean, I think it's gonna be guys like either Michael Rabel. I guess Bjarnson honestly taking it. I think he's a really underrated goalie prospect. He doesn't get talked about as much.
I wouldn't be too. I would not be mad about that. And I hate Canada when it comes to this roster. When it comes to this tournament.
Yeah.
But if
Bjarnson obviously
went off,
Trey Augustine.
Yeah.
And then obviously Trey Augustine. And then dark horse wise, I could see if Canada doesn't really have that number one forward of hey, go do whatever you want, just score, that's kind of something I've kind of seen from that roster. If so,
thinks they do.
Well, if they need someone to become that, I could see maybe a Berkeley Catton,
maybe a Jaeger.
Yeah, Jaeger. A lot of guys. They have a lot of guys. Dark horse wise, I'd love Berkeley Catton. I think there's some holes in his game, obviously, but I can see a Berkeley Catton. If Canada goes far, I think a lot of it could be because of him. And then, like you said, Cole Iserman was going to be my pick originally. So. I love Cole Iserman. Love him. He's one of the only Islanders prospects worth a damn. So.
Yeah, I think dark horse wise for me, I'm gonna go goaltending. I don't know. That's kind of all up in the air. I like Bjarnason as a dark horse for that, but to be honest, defenseman, I'm gonna go really, really off the wall. It's dark horse. I don't even think he's gonna be a consideration, but I think he's gonna do a lot better than people think. I'm really high on Minetian.
Yeah.
I think he's phenomenal. He's a crazy good puck moving defenseman. His skating is off the charts. He needs to play a little bit more physical, but I think he has all the tools to be a phenomenal player. And if he gets more run and he's a little bit more comfortable out there, I think he can do some phenomenal things. And my dark horse for forward, I know Link's gonna like this one.
Yeah.
It's a guy who hasn't gotten a lot of opportunity on almost any of the teams that he's been on. On Minnesota, he hasn't gotten a great run. On the last USA team, he was behind Will Smith, Perot, and Leonard. I think Oliver Moore is chomping at the bit to find a good opportunity to show how good he really, really is. And I think he's going to get that this year with guys like Smith not going to be there. I think he's going to really, really run with this opportunity.
That's my boy.
I will say this. I mean, there's a lot of guys saying it could be a Gabe Perot, could be more support,
not
ish players. I know I saw your comment today on Mike Partners.
He's gonna flame me if he sees that. But I'm unmoving.
Well, yeah,
on
I
Gabe
get
Perreault.
why. I get why people are saying Gabe Perreault. I mean, it's such a good line. Obviously, we need to see him on his own, but that line, like, that's going to be the best line in the whole tournament, without a doubt, in my opinion.
Inarguably, I would argue that those are, even though I feel the way I do about Gabe Perreault, I would argue that those three are in the top 5 forwards in the entire.
Yeah,
Maybe not Higgins
Forward
because
wise,
like
100%. Yeah.
yeah, so
Oh,
like
yeah.
maybe not Higgins because he's an underager, but like looking at it, it's them, it's those two, Stenberg, Jaeger, maybe I don't know. Probably Higgins or Hellenius. I don't know. It's tough. Maybe Dvorsky too. But we'll see.
yeah, Dvorsky could pop off. Yeah, he's
I wouldn't put Zavorsky in that group, to be honest, but I can see the thought process behind it for sure.
Yeah.
good player.
So
No, I think one guy, like we've talked about him a good amount. A guy who doesn't really have a ton of pressure on him, and I think that's going to help him perform. He's on a fantastic team. I think Eklund's going to really pop off. He doesn't have the pressure that the other underagers really do, to be honest, and I think that's going to help him out a lot. He's going to raise his draft stock steadily, and I think he's really going to pop off. He's going to be around a great team that's going to really elevate his play, and I think he's going to really show that this year.
he's already my 6th ranked player. I did a
Oh,
scouting
he's
report
already
on him.
6 for you. All right, well, he doesn't
Yeah,
have much higher.
He's already
to
6
go
for
then
me.
you.
I think the world of him. I already did a scouting report on him.
100%.
And he's been excellent this year. And people are like, oh, he's not putting up the points. He's in the Allsvenskan. He's playing against men. He's 5'11". He's doing better than Michael Bronzek-Nygaard did last year, and everyone was talking about him. Eklund does everything, and people will talk about how undersized he is. He does everything. He competes. He gets physical. I could totally see him dominate at the world stage.
My
And
thoughts exactly.
He'll fit really well as a wing, kind of as a foible to Stenberg. I would love to see Stenberg with Eklund, maybe Unger Sorum or Wahlberg, honestly. But like those, I really like.
Wahlberg and Eklund would be monsters.
It would be.
Together.
Yeah. I don't think you'd be able to break out the puck. That's
No,
kind of nuts.
not a
Those guys would be
chance.
pressuring your defense the entire
Not
time.
a chance. No way.
It's nuts. So
Oh yeah.
they're good forecheckers. I really like them. So.
But yeah, to wrap things up, I mean, fun tournament. It's always a fun tournament every year.
Oh yeah.
Super excited. Super
It's-
excited.
It's the
I get really
It's
pissy
the-
if the United States does not do well.
it's the
but-
draft nerds
I feel.
Super Bowl kind of
Yep.
outside the draft. So
Yeah, it's a very fun tournament. I had a
and obviously
conversation-
it does. I don't
yeah.
think it defines like too many players. Like obviously you have to look at the full sample size of the player. So
obviously, but it can change the
Yeah.
direction of how people think of a player.
Yeah.
Typically for the United States, whenever an underager makes the squad, that player's draft stock is forever changed. Look back to Charlie Stramel and Gavin Brindley. Look back to Zeev Buim. Look back to Matty Beniers. There's going to be a lot of spotlight on not only Higgins but Logan Hensler and seeing what they do. These draft eligibles are going to be like heavily scrutinized, but also people will be talking about them whenever they will be like brought up whenever they do great things. So we'll see what happens. But then again, Costa Hellenius was in a sheltered role last year,
yes,
and he still went top 12. So, no, he went 14th. Never mind, my bad. He went top 15. He was in a sheltered role, and he still did really well, and he still got drafted high. So again, some of it doesn't even matter. So we'll see what happens this year, but I'm excited. You're right. It is my Super Bowl. So,
all right.
Yeah.
I think that's really it. Just a little side thing. Watch Don to Don. Great show. That's it.
Wonderful show. All right.
Thank you
All right, that's
Hey,
it.
boys.
Thank you everyone for watching. Hope you guys all enjoy the tournament as much as we're going to.
And
Have a
happy
good one, guys.
holidays.
Happy holidays, guys.